Hey guys, just wanted to make a quick little video. I got bored the other night and started doing some research online on UFOs. I'm a UFO investigator, as some of you may know, from Pickaway County in Ohio. I'm with the Roundtown UFO Society. That organization's been here for 29 years and met consecutively every month. I've been with them about a dozen years or so. But the reason I wanted to make this particular video was on a book that I ran across. I had heard of it before. It was kind of surrounded in myth, legend, lore, all that type of stuff. It's been mentioned on the History Channel and other places. It's called The Fire Officer's Guide to Disaster Control. The main author's name was William Kramer. And like I said, it's been thrown around quite a bit, but a lot of it was secondhand stuff. And it looks pretty like a boring, type book, nothing really that exciting on the surface until you find out about chapter 13. And that's on UFOs. So, it's had a lot of, like I said, not controversy, but myth, lore, legend around it. Why would a firefighter's book have UFOs in it? Well, they would be your first responders, more than likely. If something were to crash in a city or in a surrounding community somewhere, then somebody that would see it initially would probably call 911. That would be my first thought. So it would be wise for the fire departments to have a plan in place of what to do. So I've heard on the History Channel and other places where they would say that it was a FEMA document and things. Like I said, nothing really concrete of more detail other than just the printed text. So I started looking online and I ran across some random forum that had some posts about this book from back in 2004. And it mentioned the author's name, that he worked for the University of Cincinnati. So that got me curious, and I went to their website, not expecting any of his info to still be there, considering the amount of time since it was written. The book's from 1992. Figured he'd be retired. But I went there anyway, and lo and behold, I did. I found his information. He is retired, but they kept his info up. So the next day, I proceeded to call him, and he actually answered the phone, surprisingly enough. And after, I don't know, we talked for about a half hour or so, and I got a lot more information. First, I wanted to know about the FEMA connection, and I found out that when he wrote the book, it was for the National Fire Academy, which is kind of a branch of FEMA, so to speak. Because FEMA's an umbrella agency. They cover a lot of things. But they was in process of, helping fund this and other things. So I asked what the official capacity of the particular book was. Was it kept in firehouses like some of the shows had said? Or just, what was it actually used for? And what I found out was it was a college textbook. There was 7 correspondence schools, because like an online school type today, around the country, and any other brick and mortar schools that offered a bachelor's degree in fire science. If that was the degree you were taking, then you would have read this book and used it for your homework. You would have definitely read the UFO chapter. And it was only in the one edition. He said it was taken too tongue-in-cheek, kind of too lightly. Nobody really thought a whole lot of it, even though till this day he still takes it, very serious. The book's highly, I'd say in UFO circles, it's kind of collectible now. It actually carries a pretty hefty price tag. I've seen it as high as like $600. But when in the process of doing my research that night, and after I'd got his information, this was late at night, probably 2 o'clock in the morning or so, I wanted to read chapter 13. I just wanted to read the text for myself. And it took me about 3 hours or so to find it. But I found a website. It was actually another UFO organization called Map It. It's from Manchester, United over in the UK. And they had the entire chapter 13 on their site. So I read it, and I also copied it. And made a Word document out of it, and I emailed that group and asked them. I said, if I could use it, told them, what I was doing and everything. They had no problem with it. I just wanted to give them a little bit of a shout out. And after reading it, that got me even more kind of intrigued and wanting to do this video. So what I've done is I made a Word document out of it, and I've uploaded it to my Google Drive. And I'm going to put a link in the description to where you can go download this chapter 13 and read it for yourself. It's 11 pages, but it's, you know, it goes by real fast. And I'll put a link to this Map It organization as well. So there's a lot of stuff in the chapter, but the intention was never to convince anybody of UFOs or anything like that, even though it does say the UFO threat is a fact. I've got the papers right here. But it goes into the history of UFOs, the shapes, different things to look for. And like I said, it's not to convince anybody. It's just to put the thoughts out there that, you know, if something were to crash in your area and the word got spread around that it was UFOs or extraterrestrials, whether it was or not is kind of irrelevant. It's how people will react. And it goes back to the Orson Welles' War of the Worlds back in the 30s. It was played on the radio, and people panicked and freaked out and all that. I know my grandfather was a kid at the time and heard it and told me, you know, stories from around here of people panicking and hiding and getting scared and all that. So something like that could happen today, and with social media, you know, it would get spread like wildfire a whole lot faster than it did back then. At that time, all they had were switchboard operators. Now you got Facebook, Twitter, and all the other stuff, so it would get spread very fast. And like internet stuff typically does. So that was the whole basis behind it. So I thought I would, you know, make this short little video just to kind of say that, you know, I didn't really want to go over all the specific information. I just wanted to throw it out there that I have it, and anybody that wants it can download it and read it and kind of make up your own mind on what you think of it. And on another note, before I close out this video, our local organization, Roundtown UFO Society, which I'll put the link to in the description, on our homepage, we have from Stephen Bassett, who is leading the Paradigm Research Group. They were in charge of some disclosure hearings in the past with in Washington, D.C., trying to get disclosure, which hasn't happened yet, but we can be hopeful. But on our homepage, we have some links to quite a number. I haven't even read them all yet. I just scratched the surface of some WikiLeaks articles concerning UFOs. Some emails that went back and forth between, well, some was involving the Clintons, John Podesta, who's big into the UFOs. He's a lobbyist. It was also Clinton's campaign manager and everything. But there's a lot of things in there that's interesting to read. There's some judges that are mentioned and that have said stuff. A band member, Tom DeLonge from, I do believe it's Blink-182. He's real big into the UFO circle. He was even called to the Pentagon to talk about things, which all came out in the WikiLeaks articles. So I'll put that, like I said, in the description, and you guys can check that out. And one last real quick thing, leave me a comment and let me know how you like the green screen that I'm working with. I should have me a new web camera here in the next week or so. This one's, it works, but it's not as good as I would like it. It's a little finicky. So just let me know. I just kind of threw a moon background up there, something kind of basic, just playing around. But just wanted to get this information out there. So if anybody's got any questions or comments, you know, anything UFO related, or this chapter 13, or my local organization, the Roundtown UFO Society, just drop me a comment, and I'll do my best to either answer it or at least find you an answer, point you in the right direction. I'll do the best I can. So thanks for watching, and be sure to like, favor, subscribe, you know, all that stuff. Share it if you can. You know, it always helps. And I'll have plenty more videos in the future. So, thanks for watching, and have a good day.